Look at a modern, high-speed factory floor today. Every synchronized motion from these robotic arms represents a task that once required human labor. This shift is now moving beyond the factory, integrating into every sector of the global economy. Projections for the year 2030 suggest that 92 million roles will be phased out entirely. However, the same economic transition is expected to create 170 new ones. The immediate challenge is the distance between these two numbers. This expanding chasm illustrates a massive shift in how the economy functions. Employment is moving toward roles that didn't exist a decade ago, creating intense career paralysis for professionals unsure of which direction to move. Standing still and waiting for the dust to settle means missing the transition window. While you try to figure out if the hype is real, your peers are already upskilling and claiming the roles of tomorrow. Surviving the next decade requires letting go of the outdated idea that an employer will keep you safe. The only real safety net left is the specific, adaptable skill set you build for yourself. To figure out if your specific career is on the chopping block, you have to look at the structure of your daily work. Automation targets environments governed by fixed rules and repetitive tasks. A lot of workers assume they are safe because a machine cannot perfectly replicate human conversation or creative problem-solving yet. They lean on minor daily variations in their tasks as proof of their necessity. But this risk matrix tells a different story. If your job scores high on fixed rules and repetitiveness, it lands right here in the red zone. Roles like basic bookkeeping, factory assembly, and data entry carry an 85% probability of being fully automated within the decade. So how do you objectively look at your own resume, strip away the media panic, and map a realistic route across this automation divide? It comes down to a hard choice. Holding on to a predictable, repetitive role gives you peace of mind today, but guarantees you will be priced out of the market tomorrow. We can see this exact dynamic playing out right now in corporate back offices. Historically, this is where massive teams handled execution roles, processing invoices, logging data, and balancing ledgers. This comparison matrix highlights the necessary shift. A data entry clerk is at extreme risk, but by learning SQL and Python, that same worker bridges the gap to become a data analyst, a role that directs the systems rather than just feeding them. The same applies to a basic bookkeeper. To escape that 85% automation risk, they have to invest hundreds of hours to master financial analysis and blockchain, transitioning into a fintech analyst. Algorithms process millions of rows in seconds and operate 24 hours a day without salary. Trying to outwork or outprice them in manual execution is a race to the bottom you cannot win. Staying relevant in finance and data means trading the low-friction comfort of simple data entry for the high-friction effort of system design and high-level analysis. The back office isn't the only casualty. Frontline client interaction is facing the exact same pressure, heavily impacting roles like telemarketing and standard customer service. Bringing back our matrix, look at how frontline roles must pivot. The standard telemarketer or service rep is being replaced by AI voice bots. To survive, they need to bridge over to a customer success manager, relying heavily on emotional intelligence and CRM software. Chatbots are highly efficient at processing basic, high-volume queries, like tracking a package or resetting a password. By handing off those repetitive tasks, a human worker is actually freed up to handle complex, high-stakes client escalations. But making that pivot is uncomfortable. It forces workers to throw away the safety of rigid company scripts and develop advanced communication skills, competencies that require genuine emotional bandwidth and are incredibly hard to quantify. In any client-facing career, your financial value is now directly tied to your ability to navigate the messy, unpredictable human emotions that a machine simply cannot process. Zooming out from specific job titles, there is a clear strategic pattern emerging for the entire 2030 workforce. The goal is to achieve a state called hybrid security. It is a protective career positioning that comes from fusing technical capability with human insight. The first half of this equation is the hard tech requirement. This means mastering cloud computing or basic coding or piloting AI tools to scale your logic and execution. This Venn diagram shows how it comes together. On the other side of machine logic is the soft human requirement: creativity, critical thinking, and empathy. The highlighted space where they intersect is hybrid security. You can no longer afford to brand yourself strictly as the tech person or the people person. The market demands both. Reaching that multidisciplinary overlap means constantly stepping out of your depth. You have to actively subject yourself to the immense frustration of learning completely unfamiliar disciplines year after year. This dual-skill framework is the only reliable way to guarantee that, as the economy shifts, machines operate strictly as the tools, while you remain the strategist. Applying this theory looks different depending on where you currently stand in your career timeline. For students and recent graduates, the priority should be dedicating your educational bandwidth to roles that already demand a hybrid approach, like UX/UI design or product management. This often means turning away from traditionally safe prestige majors and placing your bets on rapidly changing digital curriculums that haven't been fully proven yet. For mid-career professionals, the objective is continuous upskilling. You need to stack high-leverage capabilities on top of your existing experience, mastering advanced copywriting, high-ticket sales, or prompt engineering. The immediate cost is your free time. Securing your current salary tier means sacrificing your evenings and weekends, treating those off hours as a mandatory educational investment. Whether you are picking your first college class or holding a senior management title, claiming one of those 170 million new roles requires immediate targeted action. Passive waiting is a losing strategy. The path you take from here depends entirely on how you view your relationship with your work. As this future-proof scorecard shows, the idea of an employer handing you long-term job security is dead. The only safety net that exists is skill security, anchored by your technical proficiency, high-income output, and human ingenuity. Maintaining high marks on that scorecard requires a relentless four-step cycle. Learn the new technology, adapt to market shifts, build targeted capabilities, and stay constantly updated. Expecting a company to protect your specific role creates a massive exposure in your career. If the industry shifts and your toolkit remains static, your value to the market disappears overnight. Stop organizing your career around a comfortable job title. Instead, focus entirely on assembling a toolkit of competencies that algorithms cannot replace. In the 2030 economy, those who embrace the friction of continuous learning will lead the market.